Hello, Cappuccino. Here are our notes for today. We are going to be finding the inverse matrix of a 2 by 2 matrix, also known as the multiplicative inverse. So we have some formulas in your formula packet. So grab your formula packet. And if you look on page 4 of your formula packet, we have some formulas pertaining to matrices here. So there's other formulas pertaining to matrices in other parts of the packet, but these are the ones that we need if we want to find the inverse matrix. So I've copied those down into my notes so you can just see what I'm referring to. So in order to find the inverse of matrix A, I need to do 1 over DETA. That stands for the determinant of A. And I have a formula over here that tells us how to get the determinant. Hopefully we'll come back around later for getting more information about the determinant, but it is related to the area in geometry. So anyway, there is a geometric application for matrices as well, but we're not going to be doing that today. All right, so we can get the determinant of A by doing A times D minus B times C. And then we can take that number and plug it in here to the denominator of my fraction. And then this is a scalar. That means a number that we're going to multiply everybody in here by. So notice that the order is kind of wacky and there's some negative signs. So we are going to go ahead and run through an example. Here is my matrix A. And when you have a matrix, the order of the numbers in here corresponds to this order with the letters. So it's A, B, C, D. So I'm going to go ahead and label those on here. So this is A, this is B, this is C, and this is D. So that way we can see what goes where when we cycle them through our formulas. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and first I need to find the determinant. So my determinant, let's scroll down a little bit. So my determinant of A is going to be equal to A times D. So my A is 1, my D is -4, minus B, my B is -2, times C, and my C is 3. So if I go ahead and simplify that, my determinant of A is going to be equal to 2. Okay, so we could just put that whole thing into our calculator and we get the determinant is 2. All right, so now I'm ready to go ahead and do the next step, which is the inverse matrix. So I am going to use this formula right here. So I'm going to have A to the -1 is equal to 1 over the determinant. The determinant of A we got was equal to 2. And I'm going to multiply that by the matrix D. Well, D is -4. Negative B, well, B was -2, so the opposite of -2 would be 2. And then negative C, so this was 3, so it becomes -3. And then A, my A was 1, so it goes right there. Okay, so there is all my values plugged into the formula. Okay, just plugged them all in. And then if we multiply this out, so I'm going to multiply 1/2 times -4. That gives me -2. 1/2 times 2 is 1. 1/2 times -3 is -3/2. And 1/2 times 1 would give me 1/2. Okay, so I could test this by multiplying my inverse function by my function. And when I do that, I should get the identity matrix. I could also check this just on my graphing calculator. So I'm going to go ahead and do it on my graphing calculator. But you should be able to multiply matrices together. So if you need that practice, by all means, do that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the original matrix and I'm going to put it into my graphing calculator. And so remember, we can actually do alpha and then any of these buttons up here. We'll go y equals to bring up these menus. And I'm going to go over to matrix. And I want a 2 by 2 matrix. I'm already set up for a 2 by 2 matrix. So I can just hit enter. There's my 2 by 2 matrix. I'm going to enter in my numbers, 1, and I have to use these arrows up here, -2, -4, and 3. Okay, so there's my matrix. And now I want to find its inverse. Oh, I just noticed you can't see that very good. Let me fix my, there we go. That looks better. So now I want to take that and I want to raise it. I want to get the inverse. So I'm just going to hit -1. So x to the -1 right here. If I press that, it applies it to my last answer. And I hit enter. And notice it gave it to me in decimal form, and I have my answer in fraction form. So these are pretty easy to tell that they're the same, but remember we sometimes want to change decimals to fractions, so I want to remind you how to do that. Again, alpha, and then one of these buttons up here, the function buttons. And then the first menu here is fraction options. I can go down to number 4, which changes fractions to decimals and vice versa. So I'll select that, hit enter, and voila, it changes my decimals to fractions. And now I can see that that exactly matches what I have here on my paper. So I was able to check it with my calculator and it works fine. Okay, so in general, you don't need to do this process if you're just trying to get the inverse matrix. You know, so like when we were solving systems of equations, you don't have to go through this process. You're just going to do it on your graphing calculator. But you might be given a problem where they want you to sort of run through this process. And so there it is. And remember, it's in your, all these formulas are in your formula packet. You do not have to have them memorized. All right, that's it. Let's end this video.